All right, so this is going to be the Works Cited video for your Works Cited page. Now, as you notice here, this is the document that you have open for your Works Cited. What's super nice and easy here, right, is if you used EBSCO, or JSTOR, you just have to press the golden page or the cite button, and then you can have your your MLA citations. Now, what's nice about that is that all you'll have to do then is ensure that it's formatted correctly. So what you'll do is you'll delete all these things here. They're not needed, right? Then what we're going to need to do is we're going to pull up our sources. So let's say that these are my sources here, okay? I need to make sure that they're all in line with each other. There we go. And then there is something called the hanging indent. So the hanging indent is where this first line is not indented, but all subsequent lines in that source are. So in order to do this, you would press Enter, Tab, Tab, Backspace. Now, mine are formatted a little bit weird, so I'm going to have to kind of screw around with this a little bit to make sure that it works the way that I need it to. Now, I can't promise that all of you are going to work perfectly with this Enter, Tab, Tab, Backspace, but it works most of the time, so just keep that in the back of your head. If you're having troubles getting this to work, press Enter, Tab, Tab, Backspace. Now, as I'm working through this, right, mine's a little funky, but that's fine. I'm making it work, and there we go. All of a sudden, I have this really nice looking hanging indent here. I have my first line that's not indented. What you're going to notice right away too is that I have everything in alphabetical order. BL, BR, CH. Let's assume that you're working with your Works Cited and you don't have it in alphabetical order. You're actually going to cut whatever you need to and move it into the next area. How you cut something is by pressing Control X. So let's say that this is in the wrong area, right? I press Control X, and then I'm going to put it in its correct spot. Now, things can get a little funky. So for example, I have two authors here with the last name that starts with B. I want to ensure that if they both start with B, I move to the second letter and make sure that those second letters are in alphabetical order. Let's assume that instead of Black, this last name is Bazak. We're going to take that then, because that starts with a Z, Z comes after R, and I would cut it by pressing Control X, and I would put it right after BR, because Z comes after R, okay? So make sure you're putting everything in alphabetical order. Now let's assume that maybe you had to find something on the internet. For example, something like this World Health Organization post, right up here, called Health Consequences of Air Pollution on Populations. So if I have that, all I need to go is to go to this Googled source that I found, press Control C to copy the URL, and I'm going to build a citation for this by pressing Tools, Citations. I'm going to ensure that I'm MLA 8, and I'm going to add a citation source. Now this is obviously a website because I got it from a website. I accessed it via the website over here. So I'm going to paste my URL and press Search. What it's going to do is it's going to populate most of the fields that are needed in a works cited MLA citation, right? But it does tell me that I am missing contributors. So since I'm missing contributors, I'm going to have to figure out where that's at. But I'm going to double check, make sure the title is correct. And sure enough, the title is correct. I'm going to look at the website title, which is the WHO. And in the top left corner, it says that right there. So I'm good. The URL, clicked it. It works. We're good. I'm going to double check the date published, which says November of 2019. Perfect. That's exactly what we need. But the contributor is missing. So I want to look on this and make sure that there's no author. And sure enough, departmental news is not an author. That is a place or like a topic this is published under. Geneva, Switzerland is a place. It's not an author. So I'm going to scroll down. There's no author down at the bottom. So now what I want to do is figure out more about the World Health Organization. So it looks like this is an organization who posted this stuff. And it looks like the WHO is the United Nations agency that connects nations, partners, and people to promote health. Okay, so if that's what I'm working with, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to press continue. And I'm not going to have an author. Instead, I have a corporation. The organization is called the World Health Organization. Now that I have that, I press my add citation source. Now you have two options here. You can, if you want to, press insert works cited. Now, if you insert works cited, you'll notice that this is pasted in here with the correct hanging indents and with, you can't tell it right now, but if you had multiple sources, it would be in alphabetical order. Now, let's say that I didn't want to press insert works cited. I can always just copy and paste this in here however I need to, right? But let's say for the sake of things, I'm working with EBSCO and JSTOR sources as well as sources I built myself. So I pressed insert works cited, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these two things together. You'll notice that W here comes after C, so I put it in the correct spot, right? I'll get out of that. All of these are in alphabetical order, but something's not right. This looks different than this because this is double spaced. You'll also notice that I have a font that's not consistent with Times New Roman size 12. So what I do is I press Control A, this highlights everything. Then I press Times New Roman to make sure it's that. Press size 12 to make sure everything's looking good. And then, last but not least, I double space everything. After everything is double spaced, your works cited should look something familiar or something similar to this. And you have it something similar to this, then you have successfully created your MLA citations for your works cited page.